Where do you think United will finish if we get the remaining signings we're linked with, says Razzler. Really, really difficult to predict that. I want to talk about Ahmad or Sancho, by the way. Really difficult to predict where Man United will finish at the moment. But I think it's not difficult to say where we should be looking to finish. We've got to get Champions League football next year. So it's not unfair to say that Man United should be finishing in the top 4. And actually, if I was Sir Jim Radcliffe and I'm sat with Ten Hag and Ruud and Rennie, and I say, you've got to finish in the top 4, and they say, oh, I think that might be a bit difficult, I'd say, well, you're at the wrong club, lads, because I know we can't win the league, but we have got to win. We've got to win the Premier League. We've got to get in the Champions League. So I don't want to hear anyone saying we're going to win the league, because that's just thick people. That's nonsense. But we can get in the top 4. It will be difficult because I would put Arsenal and Man City in the top 4 straight away, and then probably Liverpool, that based on their squad, and then really it's Man United, Chelsea, Newcastle, Spurs, Villa, and that's where we've got to be battling. And I tell you what, I'd love to win a trophy, whether it's the Europa League or not. I think Cancelo for fullback would be a great option, says Joe. I like Cancelo, but it's his personality. You know, we can't keep falling into that trap. We can't buy a player because you think they're good, even though there's a doubt about their personality. Now, what happened with Cancelo and Pep? What was that all about? I'd be looking at that. Whether we could do that deal or not, I mean, Cancelo, I really like him. I think he's a very good player. Are we over the predicted 6 for this window? I don't know what that is, Marco. Predicted 6. Don't know what that is. Who should we get? Delusional Unicorn says, who should we get to be a backup to Martinez since Everton shot themselves in the foot? I don't know, but I think we need a left-footed centre-back. We were talking about that last night. I don't really know. And George says, did we try and hijack Onana, or is it false news? Mate, I've never heard anything about Man United and Onana from Everton. I mean, apparently we tried to hijack Tosin to Chelsea as well. And I don't necessarily agree with these stories, if I'm being honest with you. Eddie says, is there any update on the right back position? Not at the moment, mate. Not at the moment. Wan-Bissaka will go, but there's nobody being mentioned. Hotometer, you can have a quick look at it. I don't know whether it needs another update, but that's how it looks at the moment. I mean, Nacho's a left-footed centre-back. We had a little bit of a poll running on here. Who goes? Casemiro, McTominay, or both? Well, I can tell you where we are at the moment is we've got Scott McTominay as 23%, Casemiro on 20%, but a landslide victory, 58%, is that both should go. So I think that is interesting, isn't it? That where we are as a fan base at the moment, or as a community, is that both should go. Which is where I would be. If I had to choose between Casemiro and McTominay, it would be McTominay. Even though I think Casemiro's a spent force in the Premier League, I'd still get rid of McTominay because of pure profits. And also Casemiro offers a little bit more. But yeah, both voted for by you there. And remember, both for sale. This is breaking news this morning. Fabrizio Romano says that Man United need to sell a midfielder, and it will either be Scott McTominay or Casemiro. So both are for sale. Will we end up selling both? Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. That's what I would say about that. Jeremy says, if we have 2 to 3 windows like this, I'm like, swing. There we go. Well, and I think that's a good point as well. We do need to have 2 to 3 transfer windows like this, because if we don't, and it's just one summer, then that will potentially, you know, you've got to follow it up year after year after year. Although what we do want to do is we don't actually want to have a summer transfer window like this every year. You know, this is the foundations, isn't it? What you'd want to get to is a position that Man City are in, where, you know, in 2 years' time, Garnacho's 2 years better, Rasmus, Mainu, Collier, Yoro, Xerxes, you know, you pretty much got a stable 13, 14 players that you're really happy with. And then you're just adding one or two and removing one or two. I'd love to be in that position where we only need to buy one or two and we only need to sell one or two. Unfortunately, pretty much every year for the last 10 years is a revolution. We want evolution, not revolution, where we just evolve the team slightly because it's already good. But it's a long time since we've done that. I mean, I remember under Sir Alex, like, the criticism was that maybe we didn't, make enough changes with a very good team. I remember Roy Keane saying it after 99. Did we go and we should have gone and bought 2 or 3 really world-class players to add to a team that's won the treble to keep everyone on their toes. And we didn't. And although we won the league for the next 2 years, we didn't win the Champions League again. So, it's that little bit extra. I'm still reserved about Ineos, says Guy. The summer feels to me straight out the Glazer playbook. Get the fans on board with lots of activity and signings. Yeah, well, Guy, I mean, look, certainly I'm not the sort of fan that just flip-flops and goes, oh, everything's great now. We still do need to, judge everything as it happens. And, great owners can become crap owners overnight. In a year's time, if the Glazers are taking dividends out again, we should protest about that. That should never, ever, ever happen again. But you don't know, do you? You don't know. You've just got to judge it by the day. Kazim says, does the recent positivity increase your appetite for United Stand? Not the community itself, but doing all the content. Don't leave, says Kazim. Well, I love the transfer window, always have done. And look, I know I've mentioned it in the past, but I've always said I want to see, it's 10 years of the United Stand at Christmas. And that's a long time, and it's a long commitment, and it's a massive community. But I've never seen us win the league. And I would love to see Man United win the league, because that's, I feel like it's like 10 seasons of Game of Thrones. I don't want it to become crap at the end. And we've never had, and I almost treat each season like a season of a TV show. And even last season, it was terrible, still ended well with an FA Cup. And there was lots of drama in there, wasn't there? You think about the Rashford Belfast stuff, the Sancho. So even a crap season on paper can be a decent season in relation to, the community. But imagine a Premier League, imagine the title winning season, like the ups and downs of that. I'd love to go through that. Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video, because we all know only legends like videos, and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video, and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching, as always.